And so I'm saying all this to you guys because so many of you right now, what you're doing right now is not working. It's not. It's not working in your favor. But you're just doing it because you haven't done that first step. You haven't even sat down and just paused and said, what the heck am I doing? This is not working. And say like, and truly have just an awareness audit time. Say this is not serving me. There's certain things that you are doing that are, but there's a lot of things you're doing that isn't. And until you create awareness of that, like you're just going down a path of destruction.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you, as always, for joining me, my friends. I just finished, at least as I'm recording this, I finished the 5-day event, the Invincible Challenge. That's what I did last week. On the final day of the event, I talked about things that I regret. And one of the things that I said in the event that I do regret is me not playing the time game earlier in my life and playing the time game more frequently. That's what I want to talk about today because starting 2025, I have focused on upgrading and optimizing the time game in my life. I want to give you guys a case study of like, this is how I've actually done it, what it's looked like, and give you all maybe some tips and solutions on how you can do this for yourself as well. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about why I believe the time game is so important first. So the time game is where I am just learning how to do the things that I'm doing right now and even more and do it in less time. Okay, that's really it. Because what I realize is that when I have played the time game, I have actually been able to potentially win the game. Okay, I don't believe like that if you're playing someone in basketball and that person doesn't know they're playing like up to 11, and you know that you're trying to play up to 11, you're gonna win. You're gonna win just because you are self-aware of knowing that, hey, I'm playing this game, and they don't know that. So I think it's the same thing with the money game and the time game. If you are actually intentionally playing the time game, you have a chance to win it. But if you are not intentionally playing the time game, this world is not set up for you to win if you are not intentionally playing that particular game. And so that's why I think it's so important. I believe that if you play the time game, you can win over more of your time. And at least for me, usually by default, I actually make more money. Whereas when I only play the money game, I'm focused on making money. And that usually means I'm not focused on people. I'm not focused on how much time it's taking. And then I realize, oh my gosh, I've made all this money. But then because I am using so much of this limited resource, which is time, I end up losing in so many other areas of my life. Hopefully that makes sense. So I am a big believer. How do I get more time? How do I do this in less time? How do I win in this area of my life? And I think so many of us in healthcare, this is what we struggle with so much. It's like, you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again for whether it's the paycheck, the money, or to make the big revenue for the month, and then you're ruining everything else in your life. So let's talk about how it looks for me. Going into 2025, the first thing I did is I focused on awareness, self-awareness. And I'm actually going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about self-awareness and self-management, okay? Because I think those are the two things that you need to do in order to upgrade in the time aspect of your life and to win a game. You've got to be aware of, okay, where the heck am I at right now? And then you have to be able to self-manage, which is, okay, I'm going to have to change some behaviors, some activities, okay? So let's talk about the self-awareness first. Here's what I did, you guys, going into 2025. So I started out the year from January 2nd to 9th, I went away. I went away. I just started, oh my God, I'm going to go shop. Nope, I went away and I was like, okay, during this time, I'm going to do some reflection. Okay, and the reflection is, all right, what areas of my life am I really, really happy with? And what areas of my life do I need to upgrade? Okay, I'm happy with my marriage and with my relationship, but I felt like there was too much tension and around time. okay, in 2024. So I was like, I want to do things to where my family doesn't feel like when I'm doing events or I'm doing things for any of my businesses, like they feel like, okay, I'm just going to be gone. Like my kids or my wife feel like, all right, he's going to be non-existent for this time. Like it just creates too much tension and too much stress. And one of the big months of my impact in 2024 was March. And in March, that's usually the first event that I do for the year. And that is my Invincible Challenge. Okay. And when I'm doing an event, like a 5-day event like that, it's not 5 days. There's a lot of promotion, a lot of marketing, a lot of different things, a lot of relationship podcasts, and things that I'm doing to build up to this event so I can have 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 people sign up. But also March is like my wife's birthday. March is my youngest daughter's birthday. March is our wedding anniversary. There's a lot of things going on in March. And so I'm like, all right, how do I do this? Again, remember, I'm trying to win the time game. So I'm like, how do I do this, but have less pressure on myself? So one of the things I realized is, okay, why don't I not do it in March? Okay, bright idea there. I was like, let me try this in January and let me see what happens if I don't do all of the typical promo that I do for the event leading up to the event. So you guys know when it comes to awareness and marketing, there's only 3 ways you can get it. You can get it through organic, you can get it through paid traffic, or you can get it through partnerships. So I decided I'm going to take away partnerships because partnerships does take away time for me. And I know I preach partnerships and I think you all have to know where you're at in life. But right now I'm like, hey, if I could fill up the challenge, maybe not as much people, but get really good quality people, and I could do it through paid traffic and through organic traffic, that's detached from Greg. Like I can go and film all my organic content over a day or two or whatever. I can just do paid where I'm paying the platforms money to put me in front of the right people. So I have really good organic, content, use that organic content to help to fuel my paid content, and then see how it works for getting people to sign up for the challenge. And guys, that's what I did. So our challenge was January 20th to 24th. I did no promos for the challenge. All I did was paid traffic and organic content. So the week before the challenge, I was actually hosting an event for prior affiliates that won an event with me. And I made some changes to that as well. But guess what? I ended up getting 580 people to sign up for the challenge. Okay. We ended up having a challenge that basically we had a 10x ROI on the investment of paid traffic into the challenge. More importantly, I was able to win my time back. I did not do all the things that I typically do leading up to a challenge, and that took a lot of stress off of my family. Okay, so that's the first thing I did, all right? That's self-awareness first. I had to be aware, where are the contributing factors to the things that are making more stress or creating more stress on my relationships? Okay, then I had to go into and I had to figure out, okay, these are the things. All right, March is stressful. The end of May to June is stressful. October is always very stressful. And what is the one thing that is the common denominator? And that is my events. But what's the one way I impact people the most? It's my events. So how can I change my events? So self-awareness first, then self-management. So I had to say, okay, I know I'm used to doing these things, but I'm going to now change. Most of us have such a hard time with changing our behaviors, even though we know our behaviors are creating present day hells for us. So self-management. So I had to say, okay, well, how am I gonna not do this? Well, number one, as I told you guys earlier, I stopped doing the challenge in March. I said, I'm gonna do the challenge in January, okay? And then I'm going to take away certain things that I've done in the past that were creating stress. Okay, now, let's go to the challenge week, okay? Since it's so fresh in my mind, I wanna share this with you guys. So I'm in a challenge week last week, okay? And again, self-management. Self-management for me is I'm a very disciplined and routine guy. So for me, you guys know, like I'm getting up, I've shared this with you guys so many times. I'm getting up at 6:30, okay? I'm doing my devotional. I'm doing my Bible reading. I'm doing my prayer. It's all good things, right? And then after that, I'll go in my Facebook group, and I'm so used to this routine that I do day in and day out. But during challenge week, here's the thing. I'm not leaving work at 4 We're leaving work at 5. I'm leaving work at 10 o'clock at night. So I had to say, you know what? Okay, self-management. I got to let go. During challenge week, I got to let go of my routine. Let it go. Let it go so that I can be present with my family, with my wife, with my kids during the time that I'm not doing the challenge. So I didn't come into work until 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock every day. That allowed me to be able to have breakfast with my wife, have breakfast with the kids, have lunch with my wife, have lunch with the kids, okay? Be able to hang out, just talk, just chat it up. Me and my kids are homeschooled, right? And my oldest daughter is back from college. So it's like we were able to have the most amazing week last week, which never happens during challenges because I was able to focus on my self-management. I was able to let go of routines that during those weeks are not serving me, because what I would do in the past is I would still do my 6:30 you get a wake ups. I would still do all my routine stuff. So now I'm out of the bed, I'm doing all that, but instead of coming home at 4 or 5, I'm coming home at 10. And that takes a toll on the family. So I got to tell you guys this. I came in to work 3 to 4 o'clock each day. I focused and had intention on serving my family prior to that time and just sleeping in. So I slept in most days until like 9 to 10, okay? And here's what happened. Usually challenge weeks, when I get home, I shower and go to bed. I mean, I might talk to my wife for a couple minutes, after that shower and go to bed. This time, because I was coming to work so much later, I was able to shower, and after that, my wife and I would watch our episodes, whatever show we're on, this, that, da. I was able to hang out with the kids, whether it was before I came to work to do the challenge, and then even after, if everybody was still up, which most nights, they were. So I was going to bed around 12:30, close to 1 o'clock. I was sleeping in until 9, 9:30, 10. My wife loves that because she likes when I sleep in, right? Okay. And then after that, we go out to breakfast, we do this, maybe we would do lunch. We did something every single day. So I get to Thursday of the challenge. Usually by this, there's tension in the house, okay? By Thursday of the challenge, my wife says, this has been the most amazing week. She goes, if you do things like this, you can do the challenge every month. So guys, I'm just telling you this because me focusing on not just self-management, but obviously self-awareness first, to say, hey, where are the issues? And then are you willing to manage those issues differently? Now, I finished the challenge and it wasn't like, oh my gosh, the challenge is over. It didn't matter. It was one of the best weeks last week. I just had to do it differently. And my wife actually said, if this is how you're going to do it, feel free to do a challenge whenever you want. So guess what? I'm actually doing another challenge. I'm going to do another challenge. And guess what? We're going to do it in March. Yes, I know, the same month that I said we were going to do it. Well, she says, if you're doing it this way, it doesn't matter. It's fine. It's totally fine. She says, because you were present. You were here. You were with us. You're with me. You just were working at different hours, but it wasn't that you were sacrificing us for that. You were replacing your behavior in a different way. It's totally fine. I'm telling you all that because the amount of people that we were able to impact, maybe it went down a little bit, but I'm going to now be able to do this so many more times. I'm not dreading it anymore. We impacted so many people in January, which usually we don't do that until March. And the reason why we do it in March is because you need to build up from January, late January, all of February into March in order to have this one huge thing in March. And so I'm saying all this to you guys because so many of you right now, what you're doing right now is not working. It's not. It's not working in your favor. But you're just doing it because you haven't done that first step. You haven't even sat down and just paused and said, what the heck am I doing? This is not working. And say and truly have just an awareness audit time. Say, this is not serving me. There's certain things that you are doing that are, but there's a lot of things you're doing that isn't. And until you create awareness of that, like, you're just going down a path of destruction. Okay. And then great. Okay. Now let's just say you do that. You still have to do the next part, which is the self-management. You got to say, okay, how do I do this different? How do I do this different? How do I at least try it? Okay. How do I try to do things, differently? And I think this is, guys, I'm not just doing it for this. I'm doing it for so many other areas of life. Okay. Now, what I shared with you is on the podcast, and it was kind of vulnerable with, my relationship and this, that, da. But you know what? I'm also doing it with, I'm doing it with my business. So I'm asking myself, hey, I want to be able to have more impact. I want to be able to get in front of more people that don't know who Greg Todd is and don't know who Smart Success Healthcare is and our community. So how do I do that? Playing the time game. How do I do that? Using the same time or doing it less? How do I do more doing less? How? Look, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm just telling you, what I'm currently doing. The first thing I had to do is self-awareness. Okay, well, what the heck am I doing right now? I was like, well, one of the things that I'm doing right now is I'm only really doing content specifically for one platform, which is Instagram. Okay, I am not focusing on doing my content for YouTube. Now, one of the things that I am doing is every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I usually go into my private Facebook community. It's a free community, but people have to opt into it, right? And I usually do like a live, video. So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop doing at least one of those a week, and I'm going to focus the same amount of time on doing video on YouTube, because YouTube it's a platform that I haven't added to. Re-added. YouTube used to be my biggest platform, but after my account got banned because somebody hacked it, I haven't really restarted and put true intention into it. Okay? That's it. I'm taking away something and just adding something else. So I'm not adding any more time. And actually, I'm going to do it hopefully in even less time. And I think it's going to create more impact. Guys, this is what I'm doing. Okay? I also said, okay, well, what are other things? I'm doing content for Instagram. Great. So you know what I did? I told my team, hey, how do I do this in less time and have more impact? So what they did is they took all my content and they chopped it up for me, and they just started putting it on TikTok, and they started putting it on YouTube Shorts. And last week we had a 65,000 impression increase with no more time for me. 65,000. Guys, 65,000 increase in impressions, in people that have seen my stuff without me doing any more. I promise you all, self-awareness, start to look at what the heck are you doing that is not serving you, and then start to manage your behaviors, your activities. Start self-managing, okay? Discipline sometimes will work against you if you're doing activities and behaviors that are actually not serving you and not moving you in a direction of where you want to go today, which is different than where you wanted to go yesterday or last month or last year. So keep that in mind. I hope that serves you guys. Love you guys. Till next time.